ko dito sa
Hello,
Hey Dan, what's up,
how you
bud?
doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, my pleasure. I just pulled up your stats. I mean, I'll get a screen share knocked out here for you. I just saw these for the first time 3 seconds ago, and the first thing I thought was, "Holy shit, is that a lot of leads?" Um, but why don't you start by telling me, clearly we got the stats, and how did everything look on your side? I'm sure receiving 107 leads in 3 weeks was a lot.
Yeah,
This is probably our most successful campaign I've ever seen. Um, but I'd love to hear, from your side of the perspective, working the leads and stuff, how things went.
yeah. I think that I track stuff pretty closely on my end. It's really like I'm not tracking the connects and all that stuff, just in terms of how many leads I got.
Right, right.
We also put in there callbacks, so we had a few callbacks that we qualified as leads.
Great. So yeah, it was even more successful than what
Yeah, it
I'm
was
seeing.
about 115. I've also got a screen share. I don't know if
Great. Yeah, I can give you the right here. Give me one
okay, I'll
second.
just show you what I'm looking at.
No, that's great. I'm glad you're nice and organized. Uh, yeah, go ahead. You can
All
screen
right,
share.
let me try here. See if you can see what I got. Is that pulling up?
Yeah, yeah, it's pulling
Okay.
up great.
Yeah, so on my end, what I was doing as we were going along here was trying to track this, and like a breakdown between SMS and cold calling. And the real metric I'm looking at on my end is cost per an offer sent. So,
Sure.
most of these are offer wanted. So then, we had all in all, it did a lot better than mail,
Yeah,
so that's what we're looking at.
right.
What I did find is that the cost per offer sent with this medium is I can't really hold that to mail, because a lot of times with mail we'll just be getting someone calling and leaving their reference number that they have, but they may or may not leave much else information. So
Right.
we're usually almost always sending out an offer. Whereas with a lot of these leads, we were able to tell, like there were just so many. That the issue with this campaign, it wasn't the performance of the campaign,
It's
it's
too
just
much.
the location. And
Okay.
the thing that we found over and over with most of the places we tested in Florida is that these people have a very strong sense of market value. They're getting hammered with
Sure.
offers, in the mail as well as cold calls. And so that just makes it really hard. Like I've been pricing all these myself. I've got someone else hopefully who will have doing that for me soon, but to get the offer out. But so it's been very active 2 or 3 weeks with that.
Yeah.
But what I've learned from this medium also is that you start to get a better feel for the market and what they're kind of what's going through their
Mm,
head. I know that most sellers, aren't going to be motivated sellers, but just based on the conversational threads that I would look at with SMS or with cold calling with the notes, you could see these people. I had so many people saying like, listen, I just turned out an offer for 30 grand, or whatever it might be, which is exactly what market value is. I got 2 other offers in last week. So that's why I just say that to say that, that's why our offer sent metric is just, lower
point.
than it normally would be. I think the medium's great. I'd like to do some more, campaigns and testing. I want to do them in some other areas. I've even considered just going straight to this and then maybe mailing afterwards. So I'm working on some stuff in the background to manage all the inflow of leads and everything like that,
Right.
build out stuff like that, and how to properly track it. But yeah, I mean that's kind of the gist of the breakdown from our end. So it
I love
wasn't
that.
didn't have anything to do with the property. I mean, with the medium or anything. It's just most of the markets that we've been in. This is part of the reason why I tested one of our Florida lists, is that we just were having really bad response with blind offers, generally speaking. I'm using proven creative. I got a guy that I'm working with who's been, he's a multi seven figure guy in Texas,
Mhm.
basically using his same stuff, all that stuff. And so it's been a real drag, and even we switched to neutral letters, and those aren't just aren't getting the response. So that's kind of where we're at. But I mean, all in all, I think that it was really great, running the campaign and being able to kind of, see how it was going to work out.
Yeah, no, I love some of your perspectives. One is the R&D aspect of what we're doing here, right?
Mhm.
And I talk about that a lot. Like we're like the cheapest split test you could hire in some cases. In your case, it really panned out numerically. And then the other aspect you were saying, it's like this also almost seemed like this helped connect the missing dot. You're like, well, I see why maybe our blind offers were underperforming. So many people responded that they're recently turning down retail offers. So that makes sense
Right.
why a low blind offer. So, I just want to let you know that. I mean, I'm actually impressed with your systems. Most of the time, I'm the one that's way more organized, and in this case, you're the one who's super organized. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I mean this was explosively successful. What we kind of see, and I would love to see how your results look up at the end, is our average investor closes a deal 1 in 12 to 20 leads. Um,
Okay.
and I think with land, I'm noticing that it's closer, I think, to 12 to 15. And I think houses is closer to like 20 to 25, right? Is kind of what we're seeing. I do think the market has a big thing to do with it, like you were saying. And I think that the other
Yeah.
thing you were saying that you didn't say was like how well this might work in an area that was a little less saturated would be
Yeah.
another great site, like without someone who's like, I just turned down all these offers, or
Right.
if that didn't
Right.
happen, then the lead, quality generally just goes up, which is also cool. I will say the lead quantity, if I was to give you a comparison, this really is the most successful campaign I've ever seen. That's not a sales gimmick. I'm sure you can imagine at $11 per lead.
Yeah.
But I will say that I think that those numbers A, show how great your list is. Okay, full transparency. And B, show that it might be saturated with offers, but I don't think it's saturated with cold calls and
Mhm.
text messages. I think is another cool way to look at it. Because if it was, even a great land campaign, a great one gets 30 plus leads, right? So you were almost 3.5 times a great land campaign just
And
to
that
share.
and that's for the number of dials, you mean, like the
Same
three?
exact, yeah,
Okay.
same exact campaign you purchased on land. I tell people if you're doing land and you should expect to receive 20 to 38 leads if you're doing land. Now, of course, in cases it does go up way higher. We've seen that before. I just want to point out that although one saturation might be there in offers, I don't think the cold call saturation is there
Okay.
as
Yeah,
thorough.
yeah, mostly it was people saying that they had received, other offers. There's just a lot of mail. There are some people that say they've been receiving calls, but for the most part, and a lot of people didn't distinguish between the two. So I'm going to assume that most of it is mail. So that's the thing, and that's the problem that I've had with the business in general is that we're moving out of Florida. We're testing some other markets. We dropped some mail Friday. We dropped some mail yesterday, first class. I just want to get my data in. I've got a campaign I was going to send over to you guys. Just as a comparison, I can show you. Let's see, like our this thing's going to work for me. Uh, these were our numbers. This is another tracker that I have. um, so actually, this thing's in my way. The Zoom thing is like blocked. Okay,
Yeah,
I get it out now. Yeah, so you can see like we did some mailings in not the same counties, but other counties there in Florida, and these
yeah.
were better targeted, but our overall like call in rate, it's like a lot of guys talk about how they're getting 2.5%, 3%, whatever. We just haven't seen, even with the neutral letters, and these are all neutral letter campaigns,
Yeah.
our cost per lead in, comparatively speaking, is an actual cost per offer sent, which is what really matters,
Yeah.
is obviously significantly higher, but that's all stemming from the fact that we're just not getting
Low
the
response rate.
response,
Right.
so I know a lot of people have a lot of success in Florida. Our property, our targets are about 12 to 100K market value. Some of these latest ones where we dropped in some other areas here, I dropped down the market value just a little bit to see if that would make any bit of a difference. Mainly because when I exported the list, the way the pricing works, they cut off like 80% of the list because it was below my 12K, because they
Oh,
applied
gotcha.
price geo pricing applies post download. So anyway, long story short, this is just the point being, like, that's the comparison. I guess, my my question for you, and I think I had texted this to you, was where are your biggest spenders for land spending their money? Like, do you have any insight on that? And then also, you had mentioned like 1 to 20 acres. Pretty much everything that we're targeting is infill, for the most part.
Okay.
So I didn't know if you had any insight on like your guys they're not just buying the leads, they obviously need to have the leads perform on the back end, right? So I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
getting 100 leads is great, but obviously that's going to work. So do you have any insight on where we might consider, based on what you've seen, or the land type, targeting, whether it's infill or recreation? I mean, most of the land inventory that's selling is, if you go to like Florida and you look at like acreage wise, it's all infill for the most part. It's like 90% infill,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm sure they have. So here's what I've seen, and here's what I can share as far as expertise goes. Um, I've learned that infill in a saturated market can start to look like a housing lead flow. Okay.
Mhm.
And housing lead flow can often be much more dwarfed. So infill lots in suburban and rural areas perform great. Infill lots in a city perform like a little bit more like houses. That's what I've seen. Okay. This list that you sent us, was this recreational or was this infill lots?
This is mostly infill. Yeah.
Ah,
The way this was in one of our early lists, where with our coach at who's working with us, we were doing a different targeting, which he starts by zip code. With the targeting that I have now, it's much more precise. It's based on clusters of sales and drawing polygons to pull our lists and things like that. But so it's much more demand driven. It's not just, oh, there were this many sales that within these
and let's
parameters.
go there. Right, right, right.
So in this case, the other issue that we run against with the zip code targeting is that when we do get something back, which we've gotten we have gotten some blind offers back, for example, but we had to cancel all of them for different reasons. Because I only got like 5 back, and we sent out, like, I don't even want to say, like 12,000 pieces of mail.
Wow.
So it's been a rough road, but in this case, this was just zip code targeted. We have basically, it could be a combination, but the way it works out most of the time is something's usually in a subdivision. And so it's not like city infill. Like we don't necessarily, most of the stuff that's going to be infill is going to be like in just more of a typical subdivision. A lot of it isn't even developed yet. So there's just a lot of lots that they're wooded and need to be cleared. So it's not like a city type situation. It's usually, subdivisions to varying degrees of development.
Right. Yeah, no, well, and that's really good, too. So if this was infill lots, then that's even more amazing. I gotta it sounds like I need to research price lists a little bit more and start using them for other people. That sounds like great quality. So generally, what we see is the regional land works, gets more leads sometimes. Your campaign just disproved that. So I just want to be fair and mention all things. And it's not so much what I've seen work. What I've noticed the pattern is for all land people is 30 to 50 miles out from metro areas, picking 1 to 20 acres. I find that most people, and if you're looking for infill lots, it's probably half acre to 20 acres or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But that's kind of been the recurring theme, because we are nationwide, there's really no concentration of clients, which I guess is good for everyone. It's good for you, it's good for me, and stuff like that. I feel like generally they pick a metro area, they find a suburban area around it, and then we start there. Is generally what most of my clients are starting for land, and they're staying away from maybe ultra high desirables. I had one client get a property in Bentonville, but I guess because Walmart's there, the land is worth like $3 million or something for like 6 acres. So that's not the best spot. I'd stay away from Orlando, and I'd stay away from probably the Dallas Fort Worth area and the Houston area. Those are areas that I've seen not perform well, that I would stay away from, as generally speaking.
Okay, so from your biggest ad spenders though, the people that are coming back to you, they're spending the most money every month, running the most campaigns. Are they generally targeting like 1 to 20 acres? So there's some like stuff that's most of the infill lots are usually like I would say on average are under half an acre, right? Or three-quarters of an acre. Once you start to get up over an acre, especially up to like 20 acres, a lot of times you're talking more recreational land, like I think one of the sources that I heard from you was Joe McCall, and that's one of the things that he teaches to target is the 1 to 20 acres, right? But so it's like, but there's so much more inventory of land in
of the lots, right?
So
yeah, I do. Yeah. So I will say that, to be transparent, most of my people are the 1 to 20 acre people. Okay. I do have 2 coaches that refer people to me that are your approach lots, infill lots. Okay. Yeah. I do have 2 of those. But most of them are the 1 to 20 years over, the infill lotters. I do have that one girl, her name's Derby LaRock. She teaches infill lots and finding builders. And she mainly focuses here in Florida as well. She actually has some buyers in Punta Gorda. I doubt you don't. But just so you know, I just heard that in one of her videos that she's got someone buying up lots like crazy out there. But yeah, she's my biggest infill lot person that I use. Everyone else I really feel like is probably larger. I get a lot of people from Jack Bosch, who's larger developments, and then Joe McCall, who's larger too. Yeah. So I guess funny you mentioned that, deconstructing it. I don't have a lot of infill lot coaches sending me over their clients in a sense.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious because I mean, because there could be a bunch of people that are that you have as clients and a whole bunch of people in infill lots, I mean, or in one or the other. I'm just more curious, like, okay, of all the guys that are coming in, they're hitting their campaigns hard, they're spending the most money. Like those are the ones that I want to focus on, because I want to be like your number one client, like I want to beat that guy, but I just gotta get the stuff to back out on the back end.
Yeah. I feel like our number one client, I don't remember what our biggest land guy, let's see if I can find out his location. His name was Timothy Krause. I don't know if you've heard that name. Let me see if I could see where his market was. But yeah, most people are like you were saying, that 1 to 20 acre guy. Timothy might be as well. But let me see where he was.
Okay. They're just giving me some connection warning, just so you know, in case I like freeze up or something.
Oh, cool. No, you're good. Good.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, what I can do, this says 253. So let's find out what market. 253 area code. Tacoma is where Tacoma, Washington. Mm-hmm. is where that client was. He's probably one of my biggest ones right now, and we were just flying them out for him. And then I can ask him if you want, if he is I can send him a DM if he's large parcel or lots as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Any sort of data that you might have on, and again, I don't need to get like too personal in terms of, you know, who they are. If they want to share their information, that's fine. Or if it's just a general sense of like the top spenders, you know, that, and the guys that keep coming back, like, you know, obviously their leads are backing out on the back end for them.
Right.
And I'm just curious to know like where, you know, where they're looking with that. So
Yeah. Yeah. Most people are nationwide. You know, we get a lot of closed deals. Like I just had someone hire me from Jack Bosch. She hired the King Kong. She only got 18 leads. And then, you know, they closed a deal on that as well. I'll find out what market she was into. But yeah, you know, it's really following the numbers. In your case, I mean, you almost had too many, right? I mean, it's like I forced you to become an acquisition machine when you hired us. In a sense, you know, you had to comp, offer, and do all this stuff in like a very short window.
yeah, yeah. I just hired someone over the weekend that I'm hoping is going to be able to, seems promising. So she's you know, going through training so that we can deal with the inflow.
Yeah, awesome. And then I'll do some research and I'll try to get some information over to you as well.
Okay. Yeah, and I didn't mean to hog the screen, by the way. I'll shut
Oh,
my
you're
mic.
great. No, you're
Okay.
great. I love it, man. I love how organized this was. This was great for me to see. And like you're like an inspiration for me to like remind other clients on how organized they need to be. I think they meet with me and I should be more organized than them, but I think that they're like, I don't have to be organized. I hired Nick in a sense. But I think, you know, your system is such a great reminder on how thorough all of my clients need to be.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And then yeah, I'll give me till the end of the day too. I'll do some research on some stuff and I'll see what I get over to you.
Okay, perfect. Let me just make sure if I just want to see if I had any other questions I was going to
Yeah,
ask you.
absolutely.
Yeah, so the other thing is, we talked about that. Let's see. You know, we're expecting a lot more callbacks as I did go through all of the videos that you had for the, you know, for the checkout flow.
Yeah,
Um, so I forget, it was quite a bit. And
yeah,
so I do have everything set up at least during our business hours to, you know, to take the inbound calls.
right.
Obviously it's not like it's a big deal, but you know, we didn't see, because you were
Oh,
saying something like I think it was an 8% connect, was it 8% connect rate and then a 12% callback rate or something like that?
yeah. What I was saying too, especially was in some markets, like we've noticed in markets that answer the phone less, they call back more. So like if you're in a more saturated market, I noticed they have like more of a call screen. Like you were saying about the R&D from the
Mhm.
campaign, right? I noticed that if it's a saturated market, they'll get into the habit of letting it go to voicemail and calling back
Okay.
too. But yeah, so we've seen up to a 12% callback rate as well.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I had, yeah, we weren't seeing that. So, but again, it's not like it
Okay.
matters. I was just kind of expecting or anticipating, wanted
Or
to have in
more.
place everything I could to capture as much as,
Right.
you know, was
Yeah.
inbound. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's basically it, you know, just again, that the intel on the land, the spenders and stuff. And those are the big things, you know. And the quality of the leads, you've kind of given me an idea of potentially what to expect. I just know, you know, just based on the markets that I've been in, that or these areas I've been targeting, that yeah, it's just been kind of it's been depressing, quite frankly, in terms of
Yeah.
the performance. So
Yeah.
that's why if there's anything that you do find, I'm happy to try out, you know, those
Those
other
market.
areas and just
Yeah.
see, like, you know, if they may work.
Okay, cool. Cool. All right, well, rock and roll, Dan.
All right, well, appreciate it. Hopefully we can connect again soon, and I'm looking to get one going today.
Okay.
And yeah,
All right, rock and roll, man. I'll shoot you over some info later today. I'll write myself a note right now, and then I'll give you a coupon code to use on your order too. The coupon code is a 10% bonus. I may have given it to you last time. It's Godfather, and it's all one word. Just so
okay,
you know. And you can actually use that up to 3 times on the website if you didn't use it the first time. So I allow people to use that 10% bonus up to 3 times, just so you
okay,
know it.
okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll make a note of that.
Yeah, you got it. All right, man. Well, have a great day, Dan. We'll talk soon.
Okay, thanks so much. Hey, can you send
Yes,
me the recording of this?
I sure can.
Okay, appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll see you.
Thanks.